Okay, good evening, everyone. Can anyone hear me? Okay, good evening, everyone. Can anyone hear me? Okay, good evening, everyone. Can anyone hear me? Okay, good evening, everyone. Hello, can anyone hear me? Hello. Please confirm you can hear me. Okay, you can hear me. Great, 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 great. All right. So, before we dive into today's topic, how are you guys feeling? Can you use like an emoji to react? Are you happy? Are you excited? Are you looking forward for today's class? And just use an emoji to like, let me know how you guys are feeling. Like, are you looking forward for today's class? Or you can't just wait to end the class and, it's a Friday night. You can't hear me. Wow. Then what's happening? Could that be my network? I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Okay, let me confirm. Is there anyone here that can hear me? Okay. Okay, but it's echoing. Okay, well, please give me a moment. Let me try to. What do I do? What do I do? It's echoing. Okay, give me a moment. Let me try to. Please confirm you can hear me now. Okay, it is louder. Okay. Aside from Fawole, is there another person that can hear me now? It is louder. Great. All right. I edit. I don't understand that side eyes. Like, are you fine? Yes. Okay. All right. Okay. Oluwatosin. I can hear you loud and clear. Great. So from yesterday's class, before we dive into today's class, right? Can anyone just remind me of what we did yesterday? Did you try that? It's has stopped echoing. All right, great. I'm happy to hear that. So the class we had yesterday was on how to create an account on Jira and also how to make use of Jira as a product management tool. Okay, Chuku favor, I get that. I get that. Okay, all right, great. So I like to hear everybody's feedback. I'm sure you tried experimenting what we learned in class yesterday. Were you able to navigate? What was your experience like? Like I just want to like get feedback. Was there a class? Sorry, that was on Wednesday rather. Yeah, Wednesday. Yes, thank you, Dr. Runke. So in our last class, which was on Wednesday. You're right. So, can I get feedback, ladies? Were you able to take your time to, to practicalize those things we learned? Did you even complete the products we're working on, the user stories, the sprints you created, and all of that? Did you try working on it? Anyone, anyone, anyone. It was amazing. I was lost at the beginning, but I already found my way. I then created a new project. Okay, right. I'm glad you were lost and you were later found. Praise the Lord. Praise the living Jesus. Okay. Is there any other person? I think Edith, you have to like watch the recorded class since you said you missed it. Okay. Good evening, Miss Katz. Yeah, hallelujah. Dr. Runke, the class day is now Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Okay, thanks, Akinshe, for the updates. Nobody's talking about last class. What's happening? Okay, you enjoyed the last class. Okay, that's great. Really? Is there any other person? I also want to advise you that you need to really pair yourself with someone, right? Because you really need to like have like an accountability partner. Yeah, last class was quite insightful and agile was simplified. I love that feedback. Like you need to look for an accountability partner. Okay. Yes, there's no class on Saturday. Yeah, Joanna said it was interesting and more practical. Yeah, thank you. Try as much as possible to connect with somebody on this call, maybe on via LinkedIn. Just try to like connect so that you have somebody that you can always, even after class, you can, even if you don't have 100% understanding of it, right? You can, I believe we all learn at different pace, right? So you having an accountability partner will also help you. Like the practical class we had on Wednesday, if you are lost at some point, that is the other person will pick you, right? So please try as much as possible to connect to somebody, please. Not just for our last class, even for subsequent classes that we'll be having, because there are more practicals that we still have to do. And of all the tools, we only learned one tool out of so many tools. We only learned how to use Jira, and we still have other tools, right? If we have the time, we still have to like, you still need to learn. So you cannot do this alone. Look for an accountability partner that you can study together. Please drop your LinkedIn on the chat box, connect to somebody, and follow up with a DM. Okay, I think that's about that. So today you don't have laptop, don't worry. I believe that God will provide, right? You get by God's will. Just God will provide. That's what I can say. So yeah. So for today's class, we're moving on to products. It should be project management fundamentals. I think there is a typographical error. This was supposed to write projects, not products. So yeah. So today's class is gonna be project management fundamentals. I remember in our first class we just made like we just explain not that we didn't really go in depth, right? About what project management is all about because literally oh thank you, Jadisona. Thank you so much. Thank you. So you should also see yourself that even as a product manager, you're also a project manager. That's just the truth. Thank you, Daddy Sola. So today's topic is project management fundamentals. That's what we'll be teaching today. All right. So I'll be sharing my screen anytime soon. I'm also reading comments on my phone so that I will know when people are lost. I can come back. Yeah, and today's class is going to be very long, but I hope we can finish this slide. But if we're unable to, but definitely I'll still share the slide with everybody. Yeah, good evening, Olufunke Oshule. Today's class is project management fundamentals. That's what we're supposed to do today. So the product today is typo error, I think. Yeah, it's project management fundamentals. We open today's meeting in the name of the Father and of the Son. Okay, I love that. So, yeah, let's dive in, ladies. Please confirm you can see my screen. Can anyone see my screen? Yeah. Yes, everybody can see my screen. Good. So, all right. So, tonight's class, I'll be taking us on project management fundamentals because as a product manager, you are literally a project manager as well. Do you understand? So, a key component of building a product that everybody wants. I'm sorry. Let me try to do this. Okay. All right. All right, so one of the key components of building a product is that every product is made up of a project. Every product is made up of a project, right? So if every product is made up of a project, right, then the project has to start. It has to start and it also has to finish. Do you understand? Every product is made up of a project. Though we call it we are product managers, but if you look at it in depth, you understand that every product is made up of a project because it will definitely have a start and finish. Just that our own finish does not literally means finish. Do you understand? Yeah. Project management fundamentals. That is what we are having tonight. Yeah, it's projects. So the products you are seeing there, it's a typo error. Apologies, everyone. Yeah. So it is important that we understand the elements in project management. Do you understand? So every product, right, is made up of a project management. Do you understand? Every product is made up of every product is made up of a project. I'm sure you understand what that means. Everyone. Yeah, every product is made up of a project. Yes. Because it has start and it has finish. But our finish does not really mean finish. You understand what I'm saying, right? Ehen. So tonight, this all it's not just this because it's divided into three. So this is basically the first part. Second part, you still get it. But I'm not going to spend much time on what this project is, this and that, because we already know. We've mentioned it, but we didn't really dive into it like that, right? So yeah, what is a project? For instance, we hear the word project. I remember that when we started, we made an explanation of the difference between product and projects, if you remember. Products and project manager thing, right? We just mentioned it, but we didn't really dive into it further. Like I explained in our last class that a project is like a time-bound endeavor with a clear start and finish, undertaking to create a unique deliverables. So a project has like a specific objective, right? It's like you have a specific thing that you want to do. This is what we want to achieve, and this is a time. There's a timeline for it, right? I think we explained that in our last class. So there's a starting and there's a time for you to begin the project, and there's also a time for you to complete it. Do you understand? So it's like you're trying to build a bridge when you are launching a marketing campaign, developing a software application. Each project is many adventures with its own goals, resources, and constraints. So for every project that you're working on, there's a timeline and there's also like an objective that you're trying to achieve. There's a specific outcome that you're trying to you're looking out for. Do you understand? That's a project. Even generally said, as an we are all human being, right? I believe even we are even a project of your own because you're on this call because you are trying to achieve a particular thing. You want to have a better life, right? So it's a project that you're working on. As an individual, you're a project because you have goals, you have you see yourself that once you are done with all of this training, to God be the glory, you land a gig, you land a role, there's a goal they are looking forward for. So it's a project, but there's a timeline. You know when you started the program, you know when you're ending, and you have an expectation, isn't it? Same as this. So it's even naturally, even as an individual, we are projects. We are projects. Yeah. So So they involve a coordinated effort of people, resources to deliver a specific outcome or results. There's usually a timeline, I've mentioned that, and a plan for you to follow to make sure that everything turns out just right. You understand? So there's always a plan. You want to be a product manager, you are not taking courses, you are not taking training, you don't have a mentor, you don't have a mentor, like it will be very, very hard, honestly. If you don't have it's crazy if you don't have a mentor that can put you through, because having a mentor as well will also make your journey easy. Why? Because they face the challenges and they'll be able to like tell you, hey, BC, in order not for you to have this kind of difficulties I had when I started my career, this is what you should do, this is what you should do. So there should be like a plan that has to be followed, that everything turns out just right. And also business as usual. For instance, a restaurant serving its daily customers, managing reservations, and preparing irregular menu items. What's the project? The project is that the same restaurant is organizing a special event like a team dinner night with a specific start and an end date to introduce what new dishes and to also do what to attract new audience. So there should be like a plan. That's just the only thing. A project is time bound, basically. It has a clear start and a finish. Project has beginning and end. But as a product manager, do you understand? The finish is not finished. You understand what I mean? That the finish is actually not finished. So don't let me just dive on this page because there's a lot, we have a lot that we need to do. And moving on to characteristics of a project, there's something we call specificity. Every project has, your screen is blurring. Are you serious? Is there another person that is experiencing that, or is just cheering? Please confirm before we proceed. Is there another person that is experiencing that blurry? No, good. So I think Chiere, no, it's clear. Thank you. Chiere, maybe you should log out and join again. All right? Because I think it's quite bold. All right, thank you. All right. So for a project, it has to be specific. Every project has a clear objective, something that has to be tangible or intangible for you to achieve. Think about building a bridge over as a product manager. Even bridge is even too much as a product manager. Okay, but let's use bridge because we have bridge here. You're thinking of building a bridge or you're trying to improve a transportation. Let's not even use this. You're trying to like redesign a website as a product manager, right? Or you're trying to build a product. It has to be specific, all right? And as a product manager, right, you are also a project manager because for every product there is a what? There's a project, isn't it? So it has to be specific. This is what we want to do. This is what we want to achieve. Simple, right? And it has to be unique because each project is one journey, is one of journey, not a repetitive routine. You wouldn't call making your daily coffee a project now, would you? Answer everyone. Would you call making a daily coffee a project? Right? Would you call it a project? So a project is always one of journey. All right, exactly. It's one of it's time bound. It's actually time bound. Thank you. So project has to be specific. You see, all of these things I'm explaining, please just take note of this key keyword because majority of us we might be called for project manager roles, right? Because where I am, yeah, a project manager, but anyway, but yeah, product manager. But at the same time, you need to have an understanding of what a project manager does because you are managing a team. Exactly. So a project has to be specific. It has to be unique, and you wouldn't call your daily coffee a project because it's not one off. You are doing it every day. Exactly. So it has to be unique. It's a one-off journey. It's not repetitive. And three, it's temporary. It's temporary because it has a finite duration. It has a start date and it has an end date. You understand? So each project is also unique and creates a product and service, and the result is always different from others. Like a product manager, like when we are working on a product, there's something we call unique proposition, right? In the sense that if you are working on any product, for example, you need to do something that is different to what your competitors are doing, right? So every project is distinct, right? It's not the same. And there are some projects that can't be the same really because, for instance, you want to build a house, right? Everybody has built their own house, but I'm sure that there will be something that is unique about each houses. It might not be the same thing. So that's what this is actually saying. But as a product manager, if you are working on any product too, you cannot build the same product that your competitors. You can build this, but there has to be something distinct, right? So I don't want to waste time on this one because we have a long way to go. Progressive elaboration. Project details are developed incrementally over time as more information becomes available. And also, we have cross-functional teams. Projects often requires collaboration across different departments or discipline. So as a product manager as well, you should understand what cross-functional teams is, right? You work with, so you cannot carry out a product on your own, right? So you still have to work with people that will help you bring that product into life. You can see there are a lot of risk, right? So the one of the characteristics also is risk, right? We have economic risks, we have financial risk, right? And lots of risks when you are working. So at least you should make rooms for uncertainty and risks that must happen, and you should be able to manage it. Give room for elastic when you are working on any products. If you know that these products that you are working on, all right, yeah, maybe the timeline is like 4 weeks. We are giving like a 4 weeks product. I mean, when you're working with your design team or anyone, you should be able to like, okay, you don't have to tell them that it is 4 weeks, so at least keep that like maybe like 1 week in that hold it, that one is your own in case anything happens. Let's work with 3 weeks. You should be able to manage that resources that okay, it is 4 weeks deadline, right? You are the product manager. So you be the one to give them they will give you as a deadline. You'll be the one to communicate with your stakeholder, but you should put all of those things into consideration in case this happens. You understand? So projects involve I've explained that. So yeah, I think that's it about that. So we have projects, we have program, and we have project and portfolio. So project is a temporary effort, right, with a specific. I think I've explained that. And program is a collection of related projects managed, coordinated together to achieve strategic objectives. So program is not just one. Program involve you can do so many things at the same time. Do you understand? But for projects, it's just this is what we want to do and this is what we want to achieve. So imagine a technology company launching a program to develop a new software suite. This could involve individual launching a program to develop a new software suite. So this could also involve that individual projects for software development, QA, user interface, design, marketing. So the program is the umbrella that ties these projects together to deliver a comprehensive solutions. So we've explained what project is. So now who is now a project manager? Right? I want you to drop it on the chat box. Who is now? We've explained all of these things, right? We've explained what a project is. That a project is time bound with a clear start and finish, right? So now, who is a project manager? Drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it. I'm looking at the chat box, so everyone. I'm looking at the chat box. Nobody's dropping anything. A person who oversees the building of a product for duration of time, a person who coordinates, supervises, and oversees projects. Of course, a project manager is a project coordinator. Thank you. So you should know that if you're a product manager, you're also like a project manager. Do you understand? Because you are managing, they still manage all this definition as manage. So you are still managing something. You are managing products, you are managing human being, you're managing your stakeholders. Do you understand? So at times I get invites for project manager because literally they believe that even as a product manager, you are more of a project manager as well. The person who is in charge, exactly. Thank you. So imagine you are building a house and you need to plan what parts you need. Who is going to do what? When is it going to finish? When now, all of those things, that is the responsibility of a project manager. Exactly. So a project manager is a professional person that is responsible for planning, executing, and closing projects. They play a crucial role that ensures that a project meets its goals, objective within a defined scope, very important, within a defined time, very, very important, and a budget constraint. Like project managers, really, they are very, I don't know what can I use for them. They have targets, right? Exactly. It's an individual that will assist project from beginning to the end and in charge of project and works with different. Everybody on this call, we are all like, I don't know what, like, we all we just need to do just to like build our portfolio, start sending out our portfolio and start applying for roles. Because I see PMs on this call already. They are just here to like, okay, let's what she has to teach us tonight. Like, I need to just like refresh my memory because I'm seeing great responses on the chat box. Everybody is correct. I mean, yeah. Thank you so much for your engagement on the chat box. It means that I'm not just talking, making noise here. Thank you, ladies. So I was saying something. Imagine you are building a house and you need to plan what parts you need. Who is going to do this? Who is going to do that? And do you know another thing? Like, even as an individual, if you are not organized, it is difficult for you to be a product manager. Do you understand what I'm saying? Somebody says that if you can change your daily routine, right, that you can change your destiny. Yes. And it still falls back on you knowing how to organize. You understand? I know that project is one of, right? But I'm just trying to say this also to add that even as a product manager, if you cannot manage yourself, you cannot manage anything. Because if you are still having challenges to manage yourself, the manage in the sense that managing your time, managing your career, managing your relationship, managing your family. It might sound like basic things really, but to be honest, if you cannot deal with these fundamental issues from your home, you are not ready to do exploit in this career you have chosen. First of all, you have to deal with yourself. How do you spend your daily routine? How do you even can you even manage a home? Can you manage a relationship? Can you manage a family? Can you manage your office? Can you manage a situation? Huh? Do you understand? Can you manage a situation? So these are things that you should think about. Now to talk of you managing a team. I've done an interview that they ask you that how do you manage a team? How do you manage your designers? How do you manage your dev teams? How do you do all of these things? So please, these are personal questions you should ask yourself. How do you manage your time? Even on this call that we started, some of us started and some of us they still can't even manage themselves on how to be 100% on this call. So those are things you should ask. So a project manager work across industries and they are involved in diverse projects. They are not limited to just a particular thing. Another thing I like about you is even my morale is down. You always have a way of telling me down. I love your class. Thank you so much, Chitsunu. Thank you so much. It means a lot. Thank you. Thank you. Don't worry. You've got this. That's why you should get an accountability partner. Please, people should drop your LinkedIn on the chat box so that you can connect and send a DM from Lita. I like to connect. Can you let's be an accountant? And from there, yeah. So I think I've explained this right. So project management is a bit like being the captain of a ship, making you make sure that everything and everyone is working together to reach what their destination. That's what you are a leader, you are a mini CEO of any products. So please, these are things that we should also think about. So we have project manager, we have products. I think I've explained this in our first class, but so I'll just touch it. So project manager focuses on successful delivery of a project. They manage resources, schedules, and risk as well. So these are people that this is what we want to do, this their checklist, this because it's time frame and they have to meet up the deadline. And project manager, they can take multiple jobs, they can projects, they can be a project manager in this place, be you understand, do this, and once they are done, on to the next. They don't care what happen at the end of that project. Their own is that meet up with their deliverables. Do you understand? So a project manager, they focus on the successful delivery. Whatever that we have to do, it has to be successful because we have to meet up with the deadline. While we project managers, we concentrate on development and life cycle of a project, ensuring that we didn't just meet the market needs, but we also meet our customers' satisfaction and customers' experience. So business analysts, they analyze business processes, the requirements, they also facilitate communications between stakeholders and also the project team. When we talk about speaking of skills, the project manager toolbox is brimming with treasures. If you look at the skills that I mentioned about project management, you also realize that all of these things are one of the things we mentioned to show that for them to have added project management fundamentals to our courses, we should understand that it is very, very important that we should have that mindset that you are not just a product manager, because for every project and for every product, there's a project behind it. Do you understand? So leadership, I think I laid emphasis on leadership. It's not everybody. Some people are not born as a leader, but some people are born while some people are made. So you don't have to be born a leader, you can make yourself a leader. And there's a situation, we have situational leadership, that a situation might happen that somebody will just wake up and take, and maybe there's like an accident somewhere, and one particular person will just like, oh, is this person alive? Is this person still okay? This in that kind of situation, that's a situation leadership. There are some people that, so directly or indirectly, you're a leader, right? You have that leadership skills in you. A situation will happen and you understand. As I'm talking, even on this channel, we have people that they might still be like, hi guys, what's up with the classes so far? Like directly or indirectly with us, we have leadership spirit in us. Do you understand? So it's not until when you have the 100%, you are a leader. So as a project manager, one of the things that must go in your toolbox is you should have these skills called leadership. You should be able to manage situations. You should be able to manage situations. Even when there's a problem in your workplace or you're working on a product, yes, it doesn't work as expected. There are ways which you can just make the whole thing work now. Do you understand? So inspiring, look at the way somebody is telling me that one thing I like about you is that when Amura is down, they have a way of, hyping and she'll be happy and motivating as well as teaching, right? If you cannot motivate your team, you are deceiving yourself. So please, as a project manager, learn also to inspire and motivate your team members, even when the task you assign to them they didn't do it well. Try to like, it's actually nice, but it can be better. Or you say it's actually nice, but what if you did this? I think I've said this before. Communication, I mentioned it. You have to be good at communicating. You should either concise, written, or verbal. I used to be a very shy lady. Even until now, I'm still shy, but I'm coming out of my shell little by little. And the only way you can get better is when you are practicing it at all time. Sometimes when I started, I cannot even face camera. I cannot. If I join a boot camp that I don't ask question, because I am afraid that if I ask question, what if they did not answer me? Especially when I attended a boot camp where I asked a question And my facilitator was telling me that I should go and listen to the recording. That's the person told me that I cannot go back again. Go and I felt so ashamed of myself. But I had a friend, my accountability partner. The person said, ask again, BC, ask again. And I was like, ask again. So little by little, I was coming out of my shell. Do you understand? So communication skills is something that you also have to consider. I don't want to spend much time here because still have a long way to go, but just know your onions, know what you need to work on. Do like a personal SWOT analysis of yourself, your strengths, weakness, right? The traits and SWT, the traits. Know how you can develop your skills because you need it to excel in the tech space. You need it. You need to talk because most jobs are actually gotten by referrals, not by attending interviews and all. So communication is key. And attend tech events also. Meet people. Even if you don't have everything figured out. Speak. My name is this, yeah. And I'm actually a newbie, right? And I love to connect with you. Be bold, all right? Even if they reject you, do it again. We go again. So I will not be. I won't explain all of these things. So I'll just list it out. So one of the skills is risk management, stakeholder management, industry specific knowledge. So depending on the industry you're working on, we have fintech, agri-tech, we have edu-tech, we have agro tech, yeah, big tech. We have so many tech industries, right? So you have to like be industry specific knowledge. If you are working with this industry, try as much as possible to have exactly we go again. We don't get tired. We rest, then we move again. Alice, thank you. So industry specific knowledge, try to get knowledge for whatever industry you want to work on. You should start making that plan now that okay, after this bootcamp, am I focused on fintech, agri tech, or what other tech? We have lots of them like that, right? So always make your research and be specific on what exactly you want to do so that you will not just be everywhere without having adequate knowledge. Change control processes and managing changes to project scope and ensuring that they are properly documented and approved. Technical tools for project management. You can use Microsoft projects, you can use Jira, you can use Asana for creating your project plans, timelines, and tracking progress. So the duties is that of a project manager is a planning. I've mentioned that developing a detailed project plan, outline tasks, the timeline, the resources, the allocation, and potential risk. Very important. And also scope management. If you've done your prioritization, that okay, these are the um, um, features that we are working on, just make sure that you're not going to like bring in another feature into it when you've already prioritized. It shouldn't be out of scope, right? It should be within scope. This is what we want to achieve, and you have to like work with what you already work on. Not that you not work on those ones, but there will be like it won't go with that sprint, maybe next sprint, okay? And execution. As a product manager or project manager, you should be able to like execute. It's not a lot, it's another thing you are talking, you are saying a lot, execute. We Nigerians, we are more of a we talk, we don't execute. So execution is that you're overseeing the day-to-day activities of the project, coordinating with your team members and ensuring that the task has completed as planned. After when you've identified everything, you've made your plan and everything that you want to do, you should be able to like oversee everything that you are doing. Don't be a lazy product or a project manager. That follow up is very important, and that's where we missed it, right? And this is one of the things that happen. Even when we're having exam, we will not read when we're supposed to prepare for the exam. When it's remaining one day to the exam, we want to cover up all the chapters that you've started with us from first semester. You want to finish everything in 24 hours. Who does that? And you want to have nice GP. So you have to oversee in the sense that at every classes, I'm just using school as an example. You should be able to like even this class we're having right now. I expect somebody that has already has plans should also listen to the recording again, or better still, to also go back to the what's it called, the slide to like okay to see what they've taught them in the classroom. So this also applies to your career as well, that as a project or product manager, right, you should try as much as possible to oversee the task activities of your project. You should also work with your team members as you assign tasks, follow up every day. Do you understand? So it's even expected. So time management, creating and managing the projects. You feel attacked. I like that. That was a straight bullet. So time management. So that's very important. You have to manage your time. That this project is going to last for this hour and this so numbers of weeks, and you're able to achieve cost management, budgeting and controlling budget costs to also ensure that your expenses aligns with your what allocated resources. Quality management also, quality over, it's one of the most important thing that project managers are after. Do you understand? So quality over, like, over your delivery, whatever you are being asked to do, right, you should focus on quality. Quality is very very important. So quality is the center of every deliverables. It's not just about, yes, you just have to do this. Yeah, this project is 6 month project. Oh yeah, it's like you're building a house and you're using maybe water for, I don't know what you want to use, and you just want to like, I just want to build a house. At the end of the day, it's not even, the quality is bad, that maybe there was rain and the house started leaking. Everything was just, do you get? So quality should be one of the things that should, you should focus on quality. With the resources you have, the time, the cost, you should be able to manage all of those things to achieve what you're doing. I love that people are connecting already, but don't get distracted also. Team leadership, I've explained that. Stakeholders management, I've also explained that. And also proper documentation is also very important. As a project manager, product manager, you are expected to be able to document all the things you have done to maintain accurate and up-to-date project documentation, including your plans, the requirements, your deliverables, as well as your progress reports. Do you understand? Exactly. Closure and evaluation. So as a project manager, like, there's a beginning and there's an ending. So there should be like a closure and evaluation that ensures that a proper and orderly closure of the project is well documented and lesson is also learned for future improvements. So that's it. So we have constraints as well, right? I think I mentioned this while I was like explaining that project constraints are the general limitations that you need to account for during project life cycle, right? You can see that quality is at the center of all of these constraints that I said, that even if this all these constraints are affecting, there is like a limitations to you, you should still be able to, like, all of these constraints should be what quality is at the center of all of these constraints. As a product, or as a product manager and projects, so you're a product and a project manager. So don't just say I'm not a project manager. You are a project manager, because for every product, right, there's a project. All right. So we understand that these are some of the constraints that we can have. Risk management. Risk is also a constraint, right? Maybe for instance, you are trying to like work on an app, and for you to get the server, there are some things you needed to get, and maybe from the in the process, right? When you were trying to purchase all of those things online, dollar increased, right? For those things to get done. But you should be able to make a elastic, right? For all of those, that what if this happen, right? Risk management in terms of deadline, risk management in terms of costing. You should be able to like be able to forecast, all right? Even timing, you should be able to forecast resources. Okay, we want to do this. Okay, based on the resources we have, what we should be able to do this, do this, do this, do that. You shouldn't not sell. And also let quality be there at the center of whatever that you are doing, regardless of if all of these things are not in place. If there is challenges with cost, you should be able to manage your expectations. You should be able to like make provisions for all of those things. Because to be honest, the reality is things are not work as planned sometimes. It's easier said than done. Or as a product manager, you should be able to make elastic for all of those things before it happens, because it will always happen. It will always happen. And also be so concerned that this scope, it must not be out of scope. Whatever projects you are working on, let everything be written black and white. And that is why we have it documented. You have your living document as well, right? It shouldn't be within scope. It shouldn't be out of scope rather. Do you understand? It shouldn't be out of scope. And quality, can you see quality over whatever happens? I don't know. Do you all understand this, or you still want me to dive further? Do you understand what I'm trying to explain? Because I like you to respond on the chat box. I hope I'm not talking alone. Exactly. So the scope, the detailed set of features, the functionalities, the characteristics of the deliverables should changes to the scope can impact. You should also I want you to also know something, that when there are changes within the scope, it will affect your time, and it will also affect your cost and other projects variables. When there's like a feature or functionalities that is out of scope, so you should know that it's going to affect the cost and other projects variables. For the timing also, the duration required to complete the project, including the milestone and deadline. Delays may affect the cost, and changes in the schedule can also impact the scope and quality. So you should be able to manage all of those things. Crystal clear. Thank you. So also the cost, I think I've explained all of this. We don't need to spend much time on this slide. I've explained the cost, the budget allocated for the project that is covering resources, materials, and other expenses. Exceeding budgets may impact the scope, time, and overall project viability. So even the risks, I think I've explained the risks, uncertainties, and potential issues may arise during the project life cycle. Do you understand? I've explained resources in terms of people, a situation whereby you don't have enough hands to work on a product, and they want the product to be delivered in, they gave you a deadline, you don't have enough hands, and that can be a constraint as well. So all of this is, you have to factor them even before you are starting, that, okay, what if this happens? And also quality over your delivery. Make sure that the degree to which those project deliveries will meet the requirement and standard must not like must not affect the quality. Regardless of the constraint, please make sure that it is quality over anything else. Okay? So I think that's it about that. So I think I've even explained all of these things, this scope, the cost and time already. I've explained it. So we don't really need to dwell more on this. You can see what we have here right now. Balancing the triple constraints, the triangles. You can see if anything affects the scope, it will affect the cost and the time. If anything affects it, if one of these variables on the right is decreased, achieved scope will also decrease unless the adjustments are made. It's crystal clear. Do you understand? So let's also have this at the back of our mind. If you want to add scope, one of the variables on the right also needs to be increased. If you want to add like maybe like another thing to your scope, then you should know that your cost and the time also has to be increased to balance the triangle. I don't think I have to dwell more on this, ladies. So we are actually done with the first project management fundamental part one. So this is just like the part two of it. So it's a lot, and I want you to like ask your question before we continue. Any questions so far? Am I speaking? Am I adding value, or I'm just reading slide, or I'm not even explaining the way I should? So I want to like get feedback from everybody. I want to know if I'm just talking to myself. This is what I am connecting right now. I hope it's not affecting what I'm explaining. So, wow, you are doing well. Okay, all right. Please try to get an accountability partner, please. It's very important. All right, thank you. So before, because our break is starting by 8 o'clock. So before then, let's just remain before eight. Let's quickly go through this because this question is very important. There was an interview I went for sometimes ago, and the question they asked me, like, it was actually a project management role, right? and they were like, "What are the phases of project life cycle? You say you are working on a project, right?" They were like, "Okay, mention the five phases, right?" And I was like, "Phases. If you are going for an interview, you have to be prepared." I was like, before you even think of anything, there has to be you need to initiate. There has to be initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, and closure. Because for projects, it has beginning and it has end, obviously. So initiation is the project's kickoff phase. This is when you have to collect all the informations that are needed from your key stakeholders. This phase defines the problems and the details, what needs to be done. Do you understand? So that is what the initiation stage is talking about. That initiation is when you have to gather all the information that you need about the project. Okay, this is what you want to do, right? What problems are we trying to solve, right? I think we call this ideation stage for product management. This is when we have to, okay, what exactly are we trying to achieve? What problem are we trying to solve, basically? Do you understand? If I connect, yeah, I understand you are trying to connect, right? But let's also not be on this call without getting value because you are using your time, you are using data as well. So make sure that you are not just on the call without getting the reason why. Do you understand you're on this call? Okay, thank you. So initiation stage is the first thing. Then the next thing is what? What's the next thing, ladies? Sounds to me you are listening to me. What's the next thing about initiation stage? I can't get responses on the chat. Hello, ladies. What's the next stage? Planning. Thank you, planning. I want to know if you are following me. All right, planning. Planning. So once you've been able to identify the problem you are trying to solve, the next thing is to plan, right? You have to plan. Okay, the planning phase is the foundation for the project. This is when you detail all the work, how you plan on doing it, and what resources that you'll be needing to meet your project goals. Like I said, that ladies, you want to be a product manager, you don't have a plan. How do you want to be a product manager? You didn't take courses online, you didn't work on a live project, you didn't know how to use product management tools. Out of all the management tools we have, you can't use anyone, you can't write your PRT, right? You can't manage your stakeholders, all of those things, you don't know how to do it. You don't even know the roles of a PM. You don't have a plan. Okay, I'm a product manager. Okay, what are my plan? How many months do I have? How many months do I have for me to become a product manager? What do I need to do? Okay. The goal is I want to be a product manager. Okay, I'll take a course for 3 months. Yes, I'll get from the cohorts, I should be able to work on a product. I'll use that to build my portfolio. I believe that all of these things that you should, by now, you should be thinking about building a portfolio based on the assignments, the tasks that you've been given. And even if you haven't gotten, by now you should be making your research. What is the duty of a product manager? Which of the social media am I using to get awareness, to get aware? Is it LinkedIn? Is it Facebook? Is it you can't even say you want to use Instagram. You can't even say you want to use Twitter. We all know that it's linked. You can use Facebook. But by now, you should start your journey. That I started my journey as a PM so date. This is what I did today. All of those things, without even generally, the Bible even says that if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. Yes. So planning is essential in whatever you are doing. You have to plan. So the planning phase is the foundation for this project, that when I'm done with my 3 months cohort, I should be able to like take an internship role. I should be able to apply for a role for internship, even if it's a voluntary role. But before that can happen, some certain things has to be placed. If it can take Jesus 7 days to build heaven and earth, my guy, you should know that who are you that you don't have to plan? Yeah, God planned everything. Day one, day two. Read your Bible if you're a Christian. Day three, day four, day five, day seven, then he rested. So you are here, there's no guessing. You have to follow the process. You have to. So same thing applies to project life cycle. planning. When this has to be detailed enough for you to work with. Then the next thing is what? Execute. Is it 6 days? Yes, 6 days, Esther. Then Jesus rested on the seventh day. I like that. I like when somebody challenge. Yeah, because I want to learn. Yeah, 6 days, and he rested the 7 days. Yeah, I love that because yeah. So after you initiated the whole plan, then you plan it. Then the next thing is you execute it. The execution phase is when you get everything done. Do you understand? So this is where you put everything you have planned into motion and you complete your deliverables to achieve the project objective. And when you execute also, you monitor. The monitoring is the fourth stage, the life cycle. Do you understand? So for project life cycle and product life cycle, we know that product life cycle is we have the introduction phase, we have the growth phase, we have the maturity, we have the decline phase. Because that one, right, is products like products life cycle is kind of different to project life cycle, but it has something similar, but this one is project. Project is one time, but product is there's continuity in it. You are saying, do we have phases of the product life cycle? Is it the same? It isn't. It is not. This one is there's a closure. If you can see this one now, because it's projects, it's one time bound, but products, it's not. Do you understand? So once the project has been you've executed it, then the next thing is monitoring. You have to monitor what you are doing, right? Just like what we do as a product manager, right? That we are always our own is quite different because we track it daily, daily, daily. Do you understand? There's daily stand-up meetings every day. So every day we get feedback. So the same as project manager. So you can see for every product there's a project. It's about you monitoring the project overall progress to see if you are meeting your objective and track. So as soon as you've done all of this and you meet up with your deadline, then you can close it up. So the closure phase is wrapping up things. You hand over your documentation, your release finance, your deliverables, then you terminate your contract and inform everyone that the project is complete. That is, you can see that is project. Project don't after it's like, but product manager, even after, that's when you even start work, right? So let's go on a short break, then we'll come back by 8:05. So we'll continue from then when we are back. Are you next? Yeah. We can go on a short break now. So yeah. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. Yeah, I'm trying to check the questions on the chat box. Somebody, Duru, you're asking a question. Sorry if I didn't call your name very well. So, you asked a question that I'm trying to get your question. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm taking my time to read the. I like the fact that everybody on this chat, they're intentional about what they are doing. Despite the fact that I know we have mothers, we have sister, we have people that they even have kids, and yet on a Friday, 8:13, they are still on this call. These are people who are intentional about growth. Well done. Don't worry. There's always a reward for everything. It's a matter of time. And then you'll be saying, I started my career. Oh God. Oh, that is always fun when I hear people speaking. It's encouraged me a lot. I started my career. They will not tell us what they went through before they got to that level. They're like, I started my career. Everybody will say it. Everybody will say it. It's a matter of time. All right, you asked a question. I want to read the question in the, sorry, please, if I didn't call your name very well. I'm trying to, I'm reading the questions. Thank you. My headset is Oraimo. I'm a lover of Oraimo. Like, those guys are great. Thank you. I love Oraimo so much. Thank you. All right. Okay. In the Amaka. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce your name very well. You said in a company where we have a product manager and a project manager has different roles. If you are building a product, at what point will the project manager job began? The project manager's job is typically begins after the product has been defined. The project manager job begins after the product has been defined and planned by the product manager. That is if the company can afford to hire both, because most of them, especially startup, they cannot hire both. But we have some companies that they are rich, so they can afford both. But in that situation that we have, okay, in that situation whereby we have um that we have both of them, right? That we have both of them hired, right? So the project manager's job begins after the product has been defined and planned by the product manager, right? However, the exact timing can vary depending on the organization's specific processes and complexities of the product. Do you understand? So the project manager role is just to manage the project's resources, the timeline, and budgets, ensuring that the product is developed and launched successfully. I don't know if that answered your question. Does that answer your question? I want to confirm that the answer I gave has done justice to your question. Or do you want me to go over it again? Remember that project managers is time bound, right? But product managers, even after the product has been launched, their job continues. Okay, so all right. So I'm going through the questions here. So let me read the remaining questions that we have here. Okay. Okay, the question now is, what about in situations where you did not initiate the project, but you were called upon to manage the project? For you to manage the project, you still need to also do your own due diligence now. You cannot just manage a project that you don't know what has happened before you joined. So you still have to also do your own due diligence by what? By carrying out the research, knowing what problem it is. So even if you don't initiate it, you still have to know what went wrong. Do you understand? I don't know if that has answered your question, Adeoti. Do you understand? Because there are some projects that are abandoned projects and they want you to just start from where they stopped. Do you understand? All right. I don't know if that has not answered your question. Please ask me. I will explain again. Please confirm that my explanation has done justice to it. Kindly explain how to mark. I think the management will answer that question, not me. Thank you. So, does anybody have questions? Because today is Friday, so I don't want to take everybody's time on this call. Today is Friday, so yeah. So that we can continue from where we stop. Are we good, everyone? I need responses before we proceed, ladies. Are we good? Yes, but thank you. So I'll let me quickly share my screen so that you can. All right. Like I love the energy I'm getting on this call. Intentional women. I still have questions. Spending the chat one. Okay. I you still have questions. I can't find those questions, right? Maybe you can simply copy the questions again so that I will not take your time. Because I want us to finish this meeting before 9 so that we can have time to. Do you understand? Okay. All right. So please confirm you can see my screen. Can anyone see my screen? We can't. Oh, let me try it again. It is not shared yet. Okay. Make sure you connect. So after this meeting, drop your LinkedIn on the chat box once you are done. Get an accountability partner. Don't go home the same way you came. I believe everybody can see my screen now. So we stopped where we stopped. I think okay. I think okay. While I was explaining, I've already explained all of these things there, but I didn't even know that I still need more in this thing here. So under we stop at faces. Faces. Okay. Ah, I love that. Intentional. I can't wait to hear your story, Olufunke Oshunleye. Please tag me whenever you're posting something on LinkedIn. Yes. Like you're so intentional. I like that. Don't worry. Just don't, keep up the spirits. You will get it. If I we have people that 3 months cohorts and they are able to get internship, just know how to tell your stories and know the most important thing that matters in PM. Know it, but get somebody that can mentor you. Tell your story, share your success story, engage with people that are product managers on LinkedIn. Feel free to tell them that you're actually a newbie. You just be intentional. Don't be ashamed. But know the basics. So if you don't know the basics, I'm sorry, you have to know the basics. So for project initiation, I've already explained that for project initiation stage, you have to define the objective. You have to define the project's purpose, the scope, and the visibility of what you are working on. And one of the key activities is there's something we call project shatter. There's a template for this. So if you search online and you look for a template, oh my god, I didn't see that. I didn't see that comment. Let me focus on my slide. Olufunke, let me focus on my slide. Yeah. Okay, so the key activities is project shatter, and what does that mean? It's just like our PRD. Is it a PRD? Should I say PRD? Because this is like a template, so it's a formal document that authorizes the existence of your projects. It has like it's been details. If you look at our PRD, now our PRD has details of everything. But there's a template for project shatter, everything. It's like a formal document that contains everything that you want to do. That is going to authorize that okay, well, this thing, this that we're engaging into is a formal document basically. So you know what that means. Do you understand? And the key activities is stakeholder identification. So initiation stage is like someone that was asking me a question that what if you are not the one who initiated this? If you do not initiate it, how do you want to work? Somebody will just come and give you that this is what you should do, and you not. It's absurd. Even if you are not the one, you still have definitely you still need to like know this. You have to have some information about what you want to work on. Do you understand? So, who are the, you have to identify and engage with your key stakeholders. Who are your key stakeholders? All right. And you have to clearly define your project scope and requirements. I want to use something very funny now. Let me use this because I believe that everybody on this call, we're all ladies, right? And I think I went for a presentation somewhere where I had to speak, and I used this same example. Everybody was just laughing and they were asking questions. You know, in Nigeria, there are some topics that when you initiate it in a conversation like this, the engagement to be on another high side. So I was not saying, like, for instance, I'm using a relationship for example, right? And you have somebody that is in your life for a couple of some might be years, and yet they cannot define what they don't even understand. They cannot define why they're in their relationship. Do you understand? Like some people they will not even say they are dating in that relationship. They are just there. So in the real sense is that you should be able to define like what exactly so many times you'll be confused and you'll be asking what are we, what are we? It's not necessary to start asking those questions. If you are doing anything and you cannot clearly define what are you trying to achieve at the end of this whole thing, why do you have to be it is not, do you understand? What exactly is the outcome of your relationship with that person? Like what are we trying to achieve? Same thing applies to a project. You should be able to define is that this is what we want to do, and that's where that initiation stage comes up, right? Ability for you to be able to define what you want to achieve, and whatever you are trying to achieve must also be within scope. It shouldn't be outside scope of business. You should define your project scope and requirements. Assess the project viabilities, considering your technical, financial, economical, organizational factors that might. I've explained this. And also methodology decisions that at this point, this initiation phase, at this point, project managers and stakeholders considers the nature of the project. It is the goal and the overall context for you to determine which project management methodology aligns best with the project's characteristics. Do you understand? So all of these things has to be considered. Please, if you have to cram it all because you'll be getting invites for project manager roles. Do you understand? It's possible. There are some startup that they will not call you product manager because they know that product manager is hot cake. They will just say they want to hire project manager, of which it is actually products. So there's probability that they will also, do you understand? You can be invited for project management role, of which, do you understand? So please, project management fundamentals, um, um, informations are something that you should know, especially what are their words, the phases, this initiation, execution, and all these phases. You have to know planning, closure, cram it, because it might happen that you'll be asked. So for the planning phase, the objective is for you to be able to develop a detailed project plan that will guide your team. And what are the key activities? WBS, that's work breakdown structure. So just like product managers, that when you are working on a product, right, you have to assign tasks. You need to assign tasks to your stakeholders. Okay, for designers, by the time you've added them on the Jira board, they've got your what's it called? Your team, they are on the Jira board, you've added them, right? Your Scrum teams, they are there, and you'll be able to assign those tasks to them. Okay, for designer, this is what you should do. And in most cases, there are some designers that they want to, like, because there are some you can't work with one designer, you might have couples of designers. So the designers might like, oh, I know the strength of my designers. I'll be the one to assign each of those tasks to them, right? But make sure that you have to still assign those tasks to design team. So you are the one who now decide, okay, this person will do this, this person. Your own is that meet up with my deadline. That's it, meet up with my deadline. So you have to be able to break down those tasks. All right. So that's it about products, right? So break down projects work into manageable components so that you'll be able to track progress. Because if you cannot break down your tasks, what Agile is saying, how do you want to know if they are actually making progress or not? Because if you don't break them down, if everything is too, do you get, you will not be able to even know if you are making progress or not. And resource planning, you should be able to identify and allocate resources, including personnel, material, equipment. So you should be able to know that, okay, oh, if we are working on a product, so what exactly do we need? What and what and what and what information do you need? Do you understand? So please be intentional. Be intentional. Be intentional. Risk management planning too. These are things that you have to consider when you are in this phase, this project planning phase. These are things you have to consider. Your deliverables for project planning is what? Project plan, your WBS, your resource allocation plan, and your risk management plan. These are your deliverables for this phase. These are your deliverables. So for every project, there are deliverables. Every project, there are deliverables that has to be met. All right. So the work breakdown structure is a way to divide the total scope of work to be carried out by the project into manageable tasks. I think I've explained that. It organizes your breakdown, breaking the project into smaller pieces. You can even use providing visual representation of the project scope, right, to explain what you are trying to work on. It's as simple as that. There are a lot of tools you can use to explain what you want to do. Do you understand? So all of these things are things you should put into consideration. So the WBS is a foundational tools in project management and is also created at the beginning of your planning phase. So you can see, I don't want to, like, this is define your project scope, identify your major deliverables, create your top level WBS, outline your main project phases or deliverables for high level overviews. I'm going to share this slide exactly. Do you understand? So that please take this course very serious. This project, you might say, ah, I'm a program manager, I'm not a project manager. See, you understand when you get there that you need it. I'm serious. Do you understand? You will understand when you get there because all of these things are very important that you have to. And I mentioned when we started that for every product, right, there's a project. So if you are not a good project manager, forget it. You cannot be a good product manager because looking at everything too is still a project. Just that it's just the timing that is different. So please take this with all seriousness. All right. I think I've explained this right. So if you look at this number two that is saying that you should recognize high level project outcome as the foundation for the work breakdown structure, it's just like you prioritizing your features. When you prioritize your features, you know which one is more important. You can use any of the prioritization framework. You can use rice model. You can use um there's this one that they normally use like that, cost versus effort, or better so you use rice or you use Moscow. I used to use Moscow then because it's very that one is very easy for me to use. But if you are applying for a job, international job outside the country, most of them they want to use they use efforts versus I think cost versus efforts. I think, yeah, cost versus effort. So you really need to learn that one very well. I'm not the one who taught you prioritization framework, but you can as well also make you can use Kano model as well. So you can also make research for those frameworks. They are very important. These are cost versus effort. Very important. You have to know it too. Especially if you want to get a role outside the country. They like that one, that particular one. I hope I'm right. Is it cost versus effort? Yes, I think yes, it's cost versus effort. So the sixth one is use hierarchical. I don't know. I didn't pronounce that very well. Hierarchical numbering. So you need to assign a unique code to each WBS element for organizations and reference. So for each of those tasks, you need to assign a unique code. For we product managers, what we just have to do is just assign the task, right? You can see that when we were working on Jira yesterday, yeah, since Scrum 1, Scrum 2, Scrum 3. You remember, right? It was there. And you can exactly. So this one is also saying that you should have like a unique identifier, maybe like number. You number all of those things so that you can see because also number is also number. All right, cost versus effort. Yeah, cost versus effort. Value versus exact, because you have to know this prioritization framework. Oh, very important. Oh. It gets why, and there's a reason for me to be saying that. You have to know it. Ehen. Exactly. So where was I? So assign a unique code to each of those elements so that you can easily track progress. So seven, keep your work package manageable. You define your work package as small, assignable tasks for team members or group. It doesn't have to be too bulky. You should be able to summarize whatever information that you're trying to share across. It's not like you just write big grammar up and down of those things. Do you understand? When you're assigning tasks, it should be something that is very, very like when we're writing our user story yesterday now, and acceptance criteria. If you're writing long story, who has time to be reading stories? You know when we're writing our user story, we're like number one, number two, number three. Like this one is talking about assign unique code. That's how you also do this as well. Number one, number two, very, very straightforward, right? And also, you have to validate with your stakeholders, confirm their WBS accuracy and alignment to stakeholders' expectations. Do they have the ability to carry out the tasks that you want to assign with your stakeholders? And that is how you have to. You also need to have a relationship with your stakeholders. Don't be a yes boss, a yes project manager or products manager. It's not that they are just, you should be able to have rap. Even as I'm teaching, right? I've not met you in person, but at least I can see that we are interacting, right? And I'm getting feedback from you. I'm sure even at all we meet in real life, and I mean, I'm sure that you will not just pass and like, "Oh, look at this facilitators that will just be reading story that will not even smile." I think you can still say one or two things about me that that lady, oh, she's this, she's that. So you should be able to like, to be able to like have a relationship with your stakeholders so that you can even know their strengths than their weakness. You should be able to know all of those things, confirm it. And if there are some of your stakeholders that you're working with and they don't have the capacity, there are a lot of online resources that you can suggest to them. Like where I'm working now, right? There are a lot of free courses that my boss paid for on Udemy that we should learn. That's a boss that wants everybody to grow, isn't it? So also you can be that kind of person as well as a PM. You can suggest it to your boss If you cannot suggest it to your boss, you can even as an individual suggest it to them in resources for them to read, even if they don't have the ability for them to carry out that task. So before you assign, confirm that they have the strength. And if they don't have, let the person that knows that has the ability to do it and also work on that person that does not have the ability to do it. That's what makes you a leader. Don't just be a leader with no impact. Yes, because the impact is your legacy. That impact that you made in that person's life. So the next one, we also use our WBS for what for our work breakdown structure. That's been our WBS. I'm just using that for project planning. By utilizing the WBS for project planning, you can also use it for resource assignments and also for your progress tracking. So it's also evolve as needed. Regular updates, dynamic WBS to accommodate changes in scope risks. But all of these things you are seeing here too is still within that time frame. Once your timing is, if you sign a contract of 3 months, your 3 months is 3 months. There's no time. And your 3 months is 3 months. That's project managers for you. Do you understand? But for product manager, you should know that there's no 3 months. So there are some contracts, job, and all of that. I don't know if I'm communicating. I'm just reading slide forwards. So this is another one here. For example, that if you are trying to like develop like a new software applications, requirement gathering, you do your user interviews, document analysis, system designs, you also do their own role, the architecture design, database design. You all know that the coding and the implementation also, the front end developers too, they'll do their own job, back end developer, the testing, the unit testing, integration testing, before you now deploy it, user training, system rollouts. Then from the maybe by the time you are done, then it's need for you to fix the bugs that you eventually gotten as a result of it. You have to fix it and you have to update it. Do you understand? So all of these things are very essential. Please, intentional, very, very intentional. Another thing that has to be also be considered is you have to have like a clear goal, right? Collaborate with your marketing teams, your sales teams, and your website developers to ensure that there's a unified approach to lead generations. Do you understand? Focus on specific lead generations. If you look at the goal here now, for example, the goal here is for them to increase their lead generation. We are looking at this for the marketing team. I believe we understand what that means. So for them to achieve this now, the first thing is that they need to focus on a specific lead generation channels, such as the website. Maybe it's a website to keep that their goal is that to keep the goal limited and manageable. Not that they focus on so many, but it's just so like you have to like set that clear goals. So please don't be too overwhelmed, right? And the next thing is emotional. You need to instill enthusiasm among the team by emphasizing the impact of increase. We are using increased lead generation as an example. So you also have to for whatever you are trying to work on, right? You have to be intentional about it, right? And you have to instill what we call enthusiasm among your team members by emphasizing that the impact of why that thing has to be done. Because if the what's it called? If the importance is not known, abuse is inevitable. So if you are working on a product as a product manager, right? You should own the product. You understand what that means, right? Own the product like the product is your own, because it is when you understand the products and you own the products, that's when you'll be able to communicate it with your team members. Maybe they brought an idea for you that okay, your boss said okay, we want to build a website, maybe like a laundry app, or want to build a food app. First of all, you have to understand why we are building that product. Because if you don't have the understanding of the product you are building, how do you want to communicate with your team members? How do you want to even explain the impact of that thing on how it's going to generate, on how it's going to lead to an increase or on the business growth as well as adding to the success of it. Do you understand? Another thing is appreciable. You have to break down the overall goal in appreciable milestones such as weekly, monthly target to track progress. Our own is sprint, sabi? For the sprint one, like what we did day before yesterday now. So we've already broken down into sprints. So you have to break everything bit by bit. That's what agile is preaching. Refinable, regularly review lead generation strategies to analyze the performance metrics and also to refine approaches based on insight and feedback. Remember that these case studies, we are trying to increase a lead generation on the website. All right, so I think we understand what that means. So this is also saying that your um project has to be specific. You have to set a smart goal, and we all know what smart goal is. You have to be specific. Your goal has to be specific. You should be able to make your goal specific and narrow it for more effective planning. It should be measurable. At this so time, this has to happen. Project managers, they are very specific. They are, the timeline is measurable. They make sure that the goal and the progress are measured. This is what I want to achieve, and they will follow it back to back. It is achievable. They make sure that they can reasonably accomplish their goals within that time frame. And it has to be relevant to the value and the business goal of that organization. So your goal has to be relevant. It has to align with the values and long-term objective, whether long or short-term objective. Because as a project manager, there's always a timeline to what you're working on, and it has to be time based. You have to set a realistic goal, you have to be ambitious, end dates to clarify that prioritizations, and it increases motivation. So I think I've explained that. So this is just like an example that for that many teams use this method because of its ability to improve team communication, to define a clear roadmap, and also to result in trackable metrics. The example we're using, increased lead generations, right? This is an improved smart goal. Specific is that they want to increase the lead generation by distributing a resource guide. Can you see this is what they are being specific and measurable. They want to increase their monthly lead generation by 15%. They are specific and they can measure their progress. I believe that for every one of us that set a particular goal for ourselves, we should be able to measure if we are making progress or not. That is our personal goal. So achievable. So based on your recent study from this task, you are able to identify that our customers are interested in what their resource guide that they are distributing. Do you understand? And realistic, that's the R, to collect customer contact information in exchange for what? For their resource guide. I hope you understand this. I'm not just reading a slide. I hope you understand. And the next one, time bound, is that they produce an annual resource guide every January to maintain their lead traffic. That's based on what their research, based on the goals that they were trying to achieve. So I believe you understand that, guys. So OKRs, that's the objective and key results. Because if you don't set an OKR, how do you want to know you as a company, whether you are even, you are actually making, what's the word? You are meeting up with the objective of what you are trying to achieve over time. So OKR are goal setting framework that consists of what your objective, which define what you are to achieve, and your key results, which measure the progress towards the objective. Objectives are clear, they are inspiring, and qualitative statements that outline what the organization or team wants to achieve. Objective provide directions and purpose, right? And the key result is what? They are quantifiable, they are measurable outcomes that indicate that progress towards achieving the objective. So your key results should be what? Should be specific and should be achievable within what? A time frame. This is an example here. It's improve what? The objective here is for us to improve a customer satisfaction and loyalty. Key results one is to increase your NPS. I hope we all know what Next Promoter Score is. If you are using an app, right? So you're going to see some, you see one that will be asking you that questions like, will you will you tell your friends about this app or something like that? I think one is going to ask you, I think is it good, bad, or something like that. Can anyone has anyone had that kind of experience like that? When you are making an app and you just get like a prompt response to ask you if you can tell your friends about this app. Hmm? I can't get response on the chat box. You know, they used to ask questions like, how likely will you be able to recommend a specific product? They will ask you. They will say, I think some will say good, bad. Yeah. They will ask questions like that. Maybe good, bad, or something like that. It's three questions that they used to ask like that. I can't remember the third one. But I know that it's three questions that they will ask you. Yeah. You ask like three questions. We have the distractors, the passive, and there's one other person that will also ask you like that. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? We have the detractors, the passive, and the promoters. Can anyone hear me? So yeah, so they want to like increase their next promoter scores. Okay, maybe by so points, right? All of that. All of this is just for them to be able to know if they are missing up with their OKRs. Key results too is the one to achieve a customer retention rate, maybe by 90%. Do you understand? Then key result three is to reduce customer support response time under 24 hours. So those are the things that they want to achieve. Do you understand? So another objective here we have is, so we can see that this company line, you can see this one up, for example. The second one is saying they want to enhance their product innovation. That they want to okay, I'm seeing the chat box. Okay. That they want to enhance the product innovation and development. The key resources they want to launch three new products features within the next quarters. Key results is want to achieve 20% increase in their user engagement with the latest product release. So what this is saying is that it has to be very clear. All right, like these people that want to increase their net promoter scores, they have it's spelled out. So that's basically what this is trying to say, that you have to be able to explain what you are trying to achieve. Hmm? Yeah. So that's what that is saying. Wow. I think that's all. I think we are done. So do we have questions? I hope I'm able to add value. Okay. For the NPS, I think you remember I was saying something about that NPS, that net promoter score. So they will ask you that how likely are you going to refer the products? They be like they're like three columns. One might be good, great, excellent, right? So that's what NPS score is, right? So those things they are actually using it to for them to be able to track progress on their products. And like I mentioned, we have like three, it's divided into three. And I'm sure I mentioned it. Well, I first of all say we have good, we have another one which is great, and we have another one which is excellent, right? So we have what we called sorry, I'm trying to sorry, I'm not seeing. what this person is writing here. Okay, I'm not saying what this person is typing. Okay, so for the good, we have the promoters, we have the detractors, right? Okay, we have the detractors, we have the passive, we have the promoters. So we all know that for the for the detractors, they are from 0 to 6. There are some of us that they will ask you that how likely are you going to refer their products to their friend, you just give them 4 or 5. Those of you that are doing that, I want you to know that you are an unhappy customer too. You might not know, but you are an unhappy customers. That's what you are tagged as. So for those of you that are raising an application from 0 to 6, you are unhappy customers who can damage their brand and impede growth through negative word of mouth. That's what the chapters are. So that just know yourself that whenever you are raising a product from 0 to 6, you are unhappy customers. So the passive customers, they rate a product from 7 to 8. These are customers that are satisfied, but they are unenthusiastic customers who are vulnerable to competitive offerings. So these are customers that they are satisfied, very, very satisfied, but they are vulnerable to also to competitive offerings. But the promoters are customers that are from that they rate product from 9 to 10. These are loyal, enthusiastic customers who will keep buying and refer others to enhance growth for their organizations. So how do we calculate net promoter scores, right? That's the percentage of promoters minus percentage of detractors. So whatever value you get is the net promoter scores. Do you understand? So that's about that. I just needed to just chip that in so that for those of us that we don't understand what that means, I just wanted you to have an idea of what that means. So I think that's all from my end tonight. I hope I've been able to add value to everyone on this call. So I don't know if you have any questions. I hope I'm able to add value. I'm not just reading, reading, reading. Thank you very much. Is okay. So I think I have few questions here. Let me start from the beginning, so I'll not miss any question. I'm trying to let me take the questions one after the other. Remember that we're having limited time, we're having just 5 minutes. I'm trying to see if I can get all the questions one after the other. Okay, I'm thinking I want to take this one. If you have answered that, value. Okay, that's my question. I'm here to finish watching the video. Please, should I continue with them or keep following with the current class as I keep? Please watch it or watch. And if there's anything you don't understand, please, you can always send it to my DM. My name is Baba Emilabisi on LinkedIn. So I didn't change my name. Or yeah, raise 1 to 10 your willingness to tell someone about the app. Yeah. Yes, I've come across that on several occasions. Exactly. So yes, yes. And someone would ask if you say but exactly. I actually manage several backends, so we actually get that exactly. Yeah, welcome. Sorry, ma, what's the difference between Agile Scrum and Sprint? Agile Scrum and Mint. We all know that Scrum is an agile product development framework. I think I explained that. Scrum is an agile product development framework. I explained that to us. That's when you are breaking, when you work agile, you are breaking your tasks bit by bit, incremental, for you to achieve a particular task. That's what means that you are agile. You are not doing everything at a stretch. So when you hear the word scrum, scrum is an agile. So scrum will be the one to like help you to like, okay, like I was explaining to us yesterday, that it's a framework that will help you to bring those things into life. Okay, step by step, this is what we want to do. I explained that to us in our last class. Why a sprint is a fixed length, like a particular time you want to carry out a particular task. We have sprint one, sprint two, sprint three. Do you understand? So I think I explained that to us in our last class. So I don't think I think I've explained that to us. So yeah, it is just like your sprint is a time box period when a scrum team wants to like complete a particular task, basically. So that's just it. Okay, I think that's all. I don't think there's any other question that I didn't answer. Yes, I hope I'm able to add value to everybody. So, guys, we speak soon. I don't know. I'm not the one taking you next week, so but we definitely um we meet again. Yeah, we meet again. So I hope my section from beginning of this week to date was quite impactful. Please, whatever question you want to ask, feel free to come to my DM. I'm open to response to questions, and also try as much as possible to also do a personal research. Don't just stop in class because you cannot get everything in class. All right, be very, very, I don't want to use the word crazy, but be very passionate, because I'm sure you all have a smart goal that you set for yourself. Please do 3 months. You can achieve anything in 3 months if you know what you are doing. All right. Even if there's a course that was you were explaining in class that you don't understand, go and there you can still make your own personal research. Make research, ask people, you can ask questions. Okay. So see you again. Bye everyone, and let's have a great week. Bye.